Hi friends, welcome back to the Avocado Toast Budget. If you're new here, my name is Lexa, and today we are going over how to do goals inside of YNAB. This is a continuation of our YNAB Friday series, and I am really excited about this. I was trying to decide between which one I wanted to film first, either credit cards for YNAB or this one about goals. So I asked you all on Instagram, and the results were very close together. So I went ahead and decided that since credit cards won out by a small fraction, that I posted credit cards last week, and then this week is goals inside of YNAB. I wanted to go over these two things early on in our series because I do think both of them are very foundational to YNAB. This is like such a good representation of the two of them. Oliver could not care less about anything. Dory, highly suspect. I am a big believer in assigning a goal to every single category inside of your YNAB budget. I feel like doing it that way is the way that you get the most out of the whole YNAB system. This is like such a good representation of the two of them. Oliver could not care less about anything. Dory, highly suspect. And YNAB makes it possible for you to assign every single category a goal because they separate their goals into 3 specific kinds. Currently, the goals that YNAB has are needed for spending, target savings balance, or a monthly savings builder goal. And we are going to break down in this video all of those goals and exactly why and when you should use them. Let's go ahead and start at the top with the needed for spending goal. This one is the one that is most in-depth because underneath the needed for spending, there are actually 3 subcategories. And those are by date, weekly, and monthly needed for spending goals. Generally speaking, needed for savings goals are best for those categories or expenses where you know that you are going to need money set aside to spend that money, typically on some sort of recurring basis. This goal is also really great for sinking funds because the whole notion of needed for spending goals is that you are setting aside a certain amount of money over time that you can spend from along the way without it affecting your goal. So let's look at option 1, which is the needed for spending by a specific date. This goal is great for things like holidays or vacations. So if you have a category for Christmas, you can go and create a needed for spending by date goal. And let's say I am saving for this Christmas and I want this money by December 25th of 2021. And I've decided I want $500 to spend on Christmas this year. The really nice thing about this needed for spending goal is that I can also click repeat and I can have it repeat every single year. So whenever December 25th of this year rolls around, I don't need to go back through and create a whole other goal. YNAB will know that on that date it needs to repeat itself and I need to start saving more money for Christmas next year. So I click save goal. YNAB is going to tell me right here that I need to fund this goal. YNAB is also really smart and has done the math for me. So it knows that since right now is June 17th, if I want to have $500 by December of this year, I need to save $71.43 every single month to stay on track until Christmas this year rolls around. So all I have to do is go here and click the underfunded button, and I am good to go for putting money in this category for this month. The nice thing about this goal for things like holidays or vacations is that these are often expenses that while we're saving up for them, we are also spending money on them. So for example, with a vacation, you often need to buy plane tickets, a hotel room, maybe book a rental car, and all of those things you might need to actually spend money on before you ever get to your vacation. But you don't want that spending to affect how much money you're putting in your goal. The same thing can go for Christmas. So for example, it is June right now, but let's say I found a really good deal on a gift that I want to give at Walmart, but I don't want to give it until Christmas. But since it's on a good deal right now, I want to go ahead and spend that money. So I got a gift for $25. That shows up here in my YNAB budget coming out of my Christmas fund, but that does not affect how much money I need to save overall. So YNAB knows that I have saved $71 out of the $500 goal that I have. And even though I only have $46 left to spend, it's not counting that $25 against me. I was 14% funded before I spent that $25, and I am still 14% funded now. So while YNAB understands with this goal that it is not going to set you back if you are spending money, it will recognize if you haven't funded your category enough. So let's say I did have the $71.43 in there, but then something happened and I needed to move some of this money around to cover some overspending. So I need to move $20 toward rent. When I do that, suddenly this changes to yellow, and that is because I no longer have put the $71 in there. Now I've only put $51. So YNAB tells me I need to budget another $20 this month to stay on track. So I go down here, click my underfunded button, and I am good to go. I am back in the green. The next goal that I want to check out under this needed for spending is the monthly goal. This is great for those monthly expenses like your electric bill, gas, groceries, or fun money. Once you set up your goal, for example, I know that I need $50 to spend on my electric bill every month. You can even decide on a certain date. If I know that my utilities come out on the 15th, I can click the 15th, save goal, and YNAB will tell me I need to put $50 more toward that goal to be able to fund my electric bill this month. And this will automatically repeat on a monthly basis. What makes this goal unique is that YNAB takes any leftover money from the end of the month and applies it to next month's goal. So let's backtrack a little and say we still have this $50 a month needed for spending goal on our electric bill, but in May, we actually only spent $30 on electricity. When we go to click on this goal and click the underfunded button, it now tells us that we only need $30 to put toward this goal. And that's because with this goal type, your goal is to have that $50 by this specific date every month. So now, since I have hit that $50 goal, even though I only put 30 this month, with the 20 from last month, I am good to go. The final subsection of needed for spending is a weekly needed for spending goal. And this is great if you have weekly expenses that recur on specific days of the week. So a really good example of this is daycare. If you know that every single Monday you need to pay daycare $150, this is the best goal for you, because I can go in and put $150 needed for spending weekly and specify what day of the week I need to have that money by. So when I click save goal, we can see it looks a little bit different. Now our monthly goal is split up into these sections by week. This is really nice because some months there will be 4 Mondays and some months there will be 5. So if you only did a monthly goal, you might end up not having enough money to cover all of your expenses if there's an extra Monday in that month. But YNAB is smart and it knows which months have 5 of those Mondays in there, and it will make sure that you are covered. So here, since I am setting aside $150 a week, it is telling me that I need to set aside $600 in total for the month because there are 4 Mondays this month. However, if this happened to be a month where there were 5 Mondays, it would add another $150 on there and make sure that I saved $750 this month. Now that we've covered the needed for spending goal in YNAB, let's move on to the next goal. This goal is the target savings balance. This is best for those savings goals that you need to save a specific amount of money, usually a pretty large amount, that you will spend one time on one purchase. Some examples of this are a down payment on a home, concert tickets, or a fee for summer camp. The main thing that separates this from our needed for spending goal is this idea that you need this money for one point in time, because any spending that you do along the way in this goal is going to set back your progress. Like I mentioned, a good example of this is a down payment. So let's say you know that you are going to need $15,000 for a down payment. We select target savings balance, and you have the option to choose a date. If you have no idea when you're going to purchase a home, you just know that eventually you're going to need money for a down payment, you can go ahead and uncheck this. But let's say you have a solid plan in mind and you know that by February of 2024, you need this money for a down payment. Go ahead and click Save Goal. And YNAB once again is going to do the math for you and tell you that as of right now, you need to save $454.55 a month to stay on track to meet this goal. We click that underfunded button and we are good to go. However, right now this is kind of sounding similar to that needed for spending by a specific date goal, and this is where they differ. The difference here is that if you spend money in this category, it is going to set back your goal. So let's say you had to go ahead and spend money from this category for an unexpected home repair, and you spent $100. YNAB has done the math and taken this $100 and averaged it over the next however many months that you have to save for this goal, and has realized that since you did spend some money from this, you now need to save a little bit more every month to compensate. So now we're underfunded by $3. Whereas if I had gone ahead and spent some money from my Christmas fund, we can see here that I am still good to go. And that's because the idea of a down payment is that we are going to need to use this money for a full one-time purchase somewhere off in the distant future. But the nice thing about this goal is that it keeps up with if you are underfunding or overfunding the goal, and will adjust accordingly. So we saw how it adjusts if you end up spending money out of it or you've underfunded that goal by adding more money into that category every month that you need to save in order to reach that goal. However, what happens if you decide to put more money toward that goal? Let's say I got a big bonus or a tax return and I have an extra $1,000 that I can put toward my down payment. Originally, I needed to save around $454 a month in order to reach my down payment goal. However, when we go over to July, now we can see that number has gone down to $423, and that is because I have put more money in June and therefore am closer to reaching my goal, which has lowered the amount of money that I need to put aside every month to reach that goal by February of 2024. And last but not least is your monthly savings builder. This is best for those savings goals that you don't have a specific amount of money that you need, and you also don't have a specific date that you need that money by, but you know that you want to set aside a certain amount every single month, no matter what, toward that goal. Some examples of this might be fund money, funding a medical sinking fund, a new car if it's like a distant goal that you don't know how much you're going to need or exactly when you're going to need a new car. You just know that you want to set aside a specific amount of money toward that goal every month. And the big thing to note here is that at the end of the month, if you still have money left in this goal, it is not going to affect how much you need to put in next month's goal. So if you remember back to the beginning when we did our monthly needed for spending goal, I showed you that if I had rolled over money in my electric bill from last month, I didn't have to put as much toward that bill this month in order to meet my $50 goal. However, if I had made it a monthly savings builder goal, even if I have money left over from last month, I still need to save the same amount this month. So for example, let's say I have decided that I want to put $50 a month toward my medical expenses. I don't have specific expenses, I don't know when I'm going to have to use this, but I know no matter what, I want this to build up over time in $50 increments. So this one is pretty simple, there's nothing to check, no subcategories. I just click save goal, and I know no matter what, YNAB is going to have me put $50 toward this goal every month. So we can see here, there's nothing available to spend. I click underfunded and it adds $50. However, if I carried $40 over from last month, and if this were one of those monthly needed for spending goals, I would only need to add $10 more to reach that $50 goal. But since this is a monthly savings builder and I want this to add up over time, YNAB is still telling me that I need to add another $50 to reach my goal, no matter how much money I have sitting in here to be spent. This is great for those sinking funds that you want to build up over time. So I hope that that cleared up what YNAB goals are used for and how you can use them in your budget to help you create the most efficient system possible. If you have any questions, definitely let me know down in the comments below. Also, let us know if you have any tips or tricks to YNAB goals and how you use them, maybe in a different way than how I talked about them. Because the reality of it is all supposed to be whatever works best for you. I really hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please remember to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm, helps boost this video to the top. That way more people can find this content. And I will see you all next time. Bye.